Hi, everyone. Welcome back to my next video. This is a little bit unusual. I know that. I shot a video with a young woman named Erin, and I really enjoyed our conversation. And we kind of got philosophical a bit, as you know, I like to be. And I think I've met my match. She was a very, very wise young philosopher, and I wanted to share our conversation with you. So here's Erin and I in a video we shot together previously, and we were going to have a little conversation about the philosophy of being a nomad and traveling. And I think you'll enjoy it. I hope so. So here's the video.
I guess my main topic, aside from living in my car, is how I deal with my mental health struggles. I have a video that really goes into kind of like the root of my story. It's called Showers and Mental Health, which is an interesting combination, but it ended up just kind of like being an organic thing I spoke about on the same day I was showing you where I was taking a shower. So um, that video still gets a lot of comments, and people still reach out to me with very supportive comments there. Yeah, it's that one. Um, but my struggles specifically are anxiety and depression, and from from this video in particular, you'll understand where my mental health PTSD comes into play as well. One of the best things I ever read that encouraged me to kind of because there was definitely a point in like me doing this where I was like what am I doing? Like I'm living in a car. Like what am I doing? You know what I mean? I think that's something that people 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 project at us in a way. Like, what do you mean you live in a van? Like, what do you mean you live in a car? But it's also something that I thought myself. I'm like, wait, what am I doing? But I read something, and don't ask me where it was, or I don't know, but I came across something at some point, and it said in so many words, um, not to stress or worry about like what you're supposed to do or who you're like supposed to be, because maybe that thing isn't invented yet. Like maybe you're going to be the person who makes it a thing. So don't get too wrapped up in like, I'm gonna, the saying like, I'm gonna be this. Like, what are you gonna be when you grow up? Oh, I'm gonna be this. Well, maybe the thing you're gonna be doesn't exist yet. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Hmm.
That's evolution. It's what it is. Things come and things go. And I think that as like, our little like bubble of like-minded people, as we're like coming and we're growing and we're expanding, I think other things are going, and people are seeing that, oh wait, I thought I had to pay $1,400 a month for this one-bedroom apartment that I don't even like, and that has roaches, and my neighbors are loud, and it's not a good location. And now because I have this apartment, I have to work, I have to keep this job that I don't even like, that I actually dislike, in order to make the money to pay for these things that bring me no joy, but I don't know what else to do. And I think that's a very common thing, especially in my generation. I'm technically a millennial, and I think that we all were kind of just, and I can't, I say all very loosely, but I think in general, we were just like kind of thrown into, this abyss in a way of society. And there were so many pressures put on us at such a young age, and we're supposed to do these certain things that we can't even afford. So it's like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, how are we supposed to get any further when we're technically not, we technically don't even have a grasp on where we currently are? Like, our footing is slipping right here, but we're supposed to be up here. That doesn't make any sense, you know?
Very much. Yeah. Yeah. I think you're so right that especially the millennials, your generation and younger, uh, your age and younger, are seeing a real truth about America and the promises that have been made and aren't real, aren't being kept. And so you're deciding to live your own life. And that's just exactly what you're doing. You're taking your life into your own hands and making it what you want to be. And that's really, I think that's tremendous. I wish I had had the courage you have when I was your age. I didn't. I just followed, I did what I was told to do. And I regret that. Honestly, I do.
People think it's people who like were in my life right before I did this, and I told them, because like I had to ask for help with a few things, like, hey, I'm gonna take the seats out of the back of my car, can I store them in your basement, like, those kind of things. Well, why are you taking the seats out of your car? Oh, well, because I'm gonna live in my car. Wait, you're gonna do what? And now it's 2 years later, and these people are like, oh my god, I can't believe you're still doing that. Like, they think it's like they're kind of entertained by it, but at the same time they're like, that's weird. But I'm just like, whatever, dude, because like for me, what I see, and there's no judgment, but for me, what I see when I see you still doing the same thing, like you're still living in the same house, like working the same job, that doesn't bring you joy, because you complain about it. You complain about your neighborhood, you complain about your life in general, but like you're not making changes. And it's definitely not like car dwellers or whatever you want to call us or call yourself versus people who live in a house. That's definitely like not what I'm trying to project. That's not how I feel about it at all. It's just a point of someone who takes control and someone who lets themselves be controlled. It's like the sheep versus the lions. You see what I'm saying? Like, and the difference there is that you put a sheep in a cage and it has no idea. It just goes along and does its sheep thing. You put a lion in a cage and it is very aware that it is caged. And I'm definitely on the lion side of that fence.
Absolutely. Yeah. You weren't satisfied with society's plan for your life. So you wrote a new one.
Right.
And that's just, to my mind, that is very admirable. I just really think that's, and and we like to complain about the millennial generation, and yet many of you are doing that. You're not complaining about your life; you're simply changing it. And
Yeah.
a lot of my generation, not me, because I'm 100% behind what you're doing, but a lot of my generation, therefore, blames you because, oh, you're living in your car. You can't do that. Well, yes, you can. Why can't you live in your car?
Right.
So it's
In some
very,
places you can't. It's funny. There is like a pushback of, because some cities have their own ordinances. Like I've had my window knocked on by a cop where I didn't know there was an ordinance in that town, and he tried to make me go to a shelter and all this stuff, and I just was like, no, like I'll just leave, like. But I don't even really understand the pushback, you
yeah,
know? It doesn't make any sense to me. It's like, it's my car. I bought it. I pay the taxes for it to be registered wherever, and I work from time to time, and I pay for whatever roads I'm driving on technically. So it's like, if I want to park here and sleep, like what's the actual problem? You know what I mean? I don't get it. And the thing is, like, nobody can tell you. Nobody can answer that. You know, it's just like, we don't want that here. What is that? What is that a pronoun for? I don't even know.
right. You know what I think it is? I think there is this fear that if there, it's the Wizard of Oz, the man behind the curtain. And if people ever see that it's all a facade and there's really a man behind the curtain manipulating everything, people would in mass drop out of society, like we're doing, living a traditional societal life. And they're afraid of that. They're terrified that people could suddenly realize they are sheep in a cage. They can't let that happen. And so they got to keep everyone very fearful and in the cage and in a very pretty, nice cage. So you like the cage, but you couldn't tolerate the cage. And so you got out of it.
Mm.
And they don't like it. They want you back in that cage. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, I think it's sad when like your day or your days off work revolve around like doing laundry and cleaning your bathroom and going to the grocery store for your meals for the week. And I mean, I never got fulfillment out of that whatsoever. I just to me, I felt like a robot just going through these motions, and I was like, man, there has to be more to life than this. You know what I'm saying? And I've going through the anxiety of having free time. I have spoken to other people on my channel through comments who they kind of there is kind of like, at least my personal understanding, because I experienced it, there is kind of like an awakening period. And it can be dark and bright, you know, it can be everything in between, but it's I think any kind of life change you go through, because it is a lifestyle change. I think people who don't really understand what they're getting themselves into, like they didn't stop to think it's not just like you're moving from this apartment complex to that apartment complex, or you had one roommate and now you're going to have two, or you're going from an apartment to a house, or you're just moving to a different state. It's not, it's much bigger than that. Your whole life changes, your priorities, your level of freedom. You have like this newfound liberation and a newfound open-mindedness as well, because technically you are homeless. You know, like when I filled out this census, you know, I had to check that I was homeless, you know. And there's times where people have needed an address for me, and I'm like, well, I mean, can you just like take a screenshot and email it to me? Like, you know, because hang on just a second. I have an alarm about to go off. Um because but that's one of the ways I get all my tax forms is I'll call the jobs I had and be like, hey, like, you know, I don't have an address right now. Could you just take a picture of it and email it to me? And they will. So people ask me that all the time, like, what address do you use? Well, if I need to put down an address, I'll put down my parents' address in Georgia. To register a vehicle, you can always use a UPS mailbox. It actually gives you a physical street address. You can use that to register a car. That's how I registered my car in California, because my birthday hit when I was in Cali. So I just got a UPS mailbox and did it that way. But in general, anytime I've needed, like, it's, you know, it's been tax season, I need to do all my papers, I just call around to jobs and be like, hey, can you email it to me? Or if you can't email it, can you just take a picture with your phone and text it over to me? And, you know, they will, like, they'll do whatever. And a lot of things are electronic now. A lot of, like, if you get direct deposit, a lot of times, whatever platform your direct deposit comes from, you can see all your tax information in there. So you very rarely actually need an address. And if you want something mailed to you, just do general delivery, which you'd be surprised how many people don't even know what general delivery is. They're like, wait, what? Like, you can get your thing sent to the post office. I remember I ordered some yoga pants when I was in Berkeley. I ordered yoga pants from some company, and they were sitting there telling me that they couldn't send it to me general delivery. And I was like on the phone arguing with these people. And I was like, so you're telling me that you can't send mail to the post office? I had to teach them what general delivery was. They didn't even know. And shipping things is part of their everyday business. And they had no idea what general delivery was.
Right, right. Yeah. You know, I was thinking about what you said about the anxiety that a lot of people initially feel. It's they've left the cage, and
Yeah.
society makes our cages very nice. You know, they're not. There are nice houses and our nice homes and our nice jobs and cars. The cages are pretty and pleasant for the most part, not always, but mostly. And so once they're out of the cage and that structure and being told exactly what to do, when to do it, they're terrified and want to go right back to it. And I think that's what you experienced, and you're wise enough to see through that and didn't go back. But the urge is always for the comfortable and the familiar, and the cages are very comfortable and very familiar. Society's
Yeah.
a
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that you do have to accept about living like this. I mean, unless you have like a really fancy build and you can like control the temperature in your vehicle, every season has its faults. You're going to be cold sometimes, you're going to be hot, your mosquitoes are going to get in your car. It's really going to suck, but
Yes.
I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've woken up and like there's been like little spiders like coming down from my sunroof, like little spiders get in my car because I have to sleep with my sunroof open because otherwise it's too hot. You're gonna get little critters in here. You just have to keep it clean and be mindful, and sometimes you're not going to be able to sleep because it's too hot or you can't sleep because it's too cold. And that's when you can try to find a job in a different climate. Like one of the reasons I left California last time, aside from just kind of being bored where I was it got too hot. And so I drove up to Montana, and you can do that. You do have the freedom to do that as long as you manage your money well, and this lifestyle can be so cheap, man. You can get by on virtually no money.
Right, right. So you're still in a cage, but you're in real control over this cage. You
Yeah.
enormous amount of control and freedom within it. Go
Go
ahead,
ahead.
say so.
Hmm.
No,
Oh,
go
I
ahead.
said moving into my car saved my life.
It was pretty powerful, huh?
Yeah, totally. It woke me up. It woke me up in areas I didn't even know I was asleep in. You know what I mean? It's very powerful to really have so much control and um really it's like I have so much independence. My dependence is on me, like I depend on me instead of oh, I hope I get this job today. I hope my rent doesn't go up. Like, just like when you live in that cage, you're dependent on the system. You hope the system is like easy on you and nice enough to you and doesn't get any harder on you, but once you don't have those worries, you can focus energy on so many other things.
Right. You could become who you were supposed to be.
Yeah. The thing that wasn't created yet, you can
Yes.
create it. Yeah.
And you really did. I mean, people have been living in their cars for a while, for a very long time. Uh, in fact, it goes back a long ways. But in your community, no one lived in cars. And so when you moved into a car, you were doing something no one else was doing.
Yeah. I only had one friend who cheered me on. I had one friend that was who even like sat down with me and was like, okay, I think I have a few suggestions on how this could be like really cool and like how to stay safe, and like they were like really into it, and they would check in on me and be like, so how's it going? Like what was it like last night? Like where did you park? Like really into it. But then I had this whole other group of people that I don't think I'd call them my friends, but just other humans. And they actually placed bets on how long I would last in my car. And that's projecting negativity on a positive choice for me, and so I didn't appreciate that. But actually the longest was 2 weeks.
No,
And I've
wow.
been doing this for 2 years. So booyah, I won.
Good. And they're still, like you said, they're still in their old lives, hating their old jobs, hating nearly everything about their lives. And it hasn't always been easy and fun for you, of course, but you
Hmm.
don't regret it.
Yeah, it's not always easy and fun, but I tell you what, I cannot count how many times I have woken up somewhere beautiful. And I have spent my day, whether my mental health on a scale of 1 to 10 was at like a 2 or an 8, it didn't matter. I was somewhere beautiful. And like I have those memories. It's really cool. I'm very thankful for it.
Right. And that's the thing is, no matter what happens in the future, you have these memories. They're part of you, and they can be a happy place you go to, even in the bad times.
Definitely.
Yeah. And again, that's the way I totally relate to you, because someone asked me, what do you want more out of anything in life? And it's to wake up in a beautiful place. That's,
I feel that.
if I can do that, my life is good and complete.
Yeah, right now I'm in Atlanta, so I wake up to, I mean, there's a bunch of trees here, but there's also a lot of concrete, and it's not really my thing, but I feel like I don't have a lot of options right now with the pandemic. So I'm doing what I have to do, and I got a job and I told him I'm only working 4 days a week. So that's another thing I have control over. I don't have to be that person that works like 5 doubles in a row at the bar. Like, I'm like 4 shifts a week maximum. And that was an ultimatum for me because they wanted me, and I was like, okay, well, if you want me, I'm working 4 shifts a week maximum, and that's it. So it's good, and I'm closer to family, but yeah, there's just a lot of concrete. I'm so anxious to get back to there's parts of Colorado I haven't been to yet. I definitely want to get out to Colorado, and I am like really, really yearning to get back to Idaho. I love that state so much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it has a real spirit of freedom to it. Not only
It
is it
does.
beautiful, which it is, very, very beautiful, but I think it has a real spirit of freedom to it. And I don't know what that means. I just feel it when I'm there.
Yeah,
So,
I agree.
uh, so there you have it, folks. Erin and I spent some time visiting and philosophizing, and I hope it was not boring or pretentious. That you got something out of it. I was amazed at Erin's wisdom, and so I really appreciated the conversation, and I thought I would share with you. So I really encourage you to go and join her channel, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and follow her. So if you got anything out of this video, like us on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, hit that thumbs up button, and we'll talk to you later.